supplemental income for us to have.
Some surprise guests today. Stephen and Carmen back again, talk about that Gonzo life. Actually, today we're here to talk about Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno.
No.
You know, we're here to talk about working from home today. And the challenges it brings and the different variations and changes we've gone through with this. And I'm going to allow my beautiful wife to speak first.
We were introduced to the idea of working from home when the famous virus came out. And that was a time when we were in a 3-bedroom apartment. And each of the rooms I used for homeschooling my children. So we had to make it work. I moved our bed over and my husband had a desk right there. And it was less than ideal. We have since then moved from California. And when we were house hunting, we made sure that he had a working space of his own with his own office and a door so that he could do Zoom meetings and all of that fun stuff. There were still a lot of transitions that we had to consider because even while he's working from home, we are still all home. I'm homeschooling the kids and there's still tantrums because we have ages that range from 3 years old to 14 years old.
And tantrums are mostly from the 14-year-old.
Don't tell him we said that. Every day looks very different. We have figured out how to be in communication, and I would say that that's probably the biggest thing is staying in communication and having a shared, because what I can do is I can schedule, let's just say a park date or a field trip or an outing of some sort. I can do it at a time where maybe he's having a meeting. Now, the company he works for is based out of California, so there's also a time zone to consider. They tend to happen when it's during our dinner time or past our dinner time. So we've also had to make that one work, which has its challenges, but now that we know it happens every single week, we make that work. At the beginning, we found I had just fed all of the kids or we have all eaten and then husband comes down and he's ready to eat. I've also learned that making sure that I treat him working from home, I treat that as something that we get to value and enjoy, but also when it comes to meal prepping, I still try to have food items available as though he were going to work. So I don't necessarily pack his lunch, but I do have lunch or breakfast and late afternoon snacks available that he could readily grab that way. Or I also make sure that I communicate and say, hey, we're getting ready to eat lunch. Can you join us? And that's actually one of the beautiful things is that we get to enjoy, oftentimes we get to enjoy brunch together. We get to enjoy lunch together and dinner. And so it's not this set time where we're always eating as a family, like arbitrary for dinner. We get to have the freedom to enjoy a lot of meals together.
Working from home has its advantages and it also has its disadvantages. Much with everything in life, much with everything in marriage, it's about setting boundaries. But just because I'm here physically present in the home doesn't mean necessarily that I'm available for the kids to understand that. You know, my door is closed in my office, I'm working, I'm not available to go play or to partake in stuff. Now they do have more freedom obviously because I am here to say, hey dad, can I ask you something? Which is great. But also I think, as my wife said, it's still treating it almost as if I wasn't here, even though I am in some regards. Like these are my work hours, or if I have a meeting especially, like that's the time. My office is upstairs. To not be upstairs playing and making a bunch of noise right by my office, that's the time for maybe the kids to come downstairs. My meetings usually only range between 30 to 45 minutes, so it's not like we're asking them to be down here or in a specific spot for that like big of a length of time. But again, like I said, as with anything, it's about communication. It's about saying like, hey, you know, these are the times I'm going to be in a meeting, or this is my work schedule for today. But it also gives me so much flexibility, especially with the company that I work for, in which there's no really like, oh, you're required to be on clock from 9 to 5. It's more get your work done. So if I need to go run an errand for my wife, or one of us needs to take the kid to an appointment, or we're out of so and such groceries, can you go pick it up? It works for us, and especially right now because we only have one vehicle. We've only had one vehicle pretty much since I started working from home. And so we need to make sure we coordinate those things. And like she said, she's really great about having play dates and stuff like that to get out of the house sometimes. And that's the biggest part about me working from home that affects me negatively, that sometimes I realize all of a sudden that I go days sometimes without really leaving the house. And so I've been trying to be more proactive about even just going into our backyard and our deck and making sure I get some sun, some vitamin D, some fresh air. I've been going on walks around our neighborhood, different things like that. So, you know, overcome that challenge, because again, if I'm not careful, I will find that 2-3 days have gone by and I have pretty much woken up, been awake all day here in the house, and then I go to bed and then I repeat that same process. Another part of working from home that I would say can be a bit challenging sometimes is, as much as I say, okay, this is my dedicated work time, sometimes if I do hear the kids acting up in a certain way, is for me to not immediately want to step in, but then also gauging when I do need to. Maybe I need to take a 10-minute break or whatever and come outside. And at the end of the day, as it's about 1.5 years now that I've been working from home, I love it. I love the flexibility it gives. I love the ability to be able to come and talk to my kids, talk to my wife, come downstairs for 10 minutes, joke around with them really quick, and do all those types of things. So I would say that overall, as we've transitioned and as we've kind of gotten used to routines and the different things that are the expectations, I would say working from home is an overall plus. It's an overall benefit. My wife also works from home. She works for some awesome friends of ours, the Hemsats.
It's about 10 hours a week, and then I do a live training of some sort where I absolutely need my children to not be in my physical presence. And the caveat with my working from home is that it's like right here where the children are around, and we created a supplemental income for us to have.
Some surprise guests today.
It's helpful, and we're so thankful, but we were very specific with making this work in a sense that it could not take away from my first ministry, which is to be at home with my children, to homeschool them in a way that we both agree on teaching them and educating them. So that has to come first. And thankfully, the team that I chose to partner with 100% understands that. And the times that I do train, I have been able to work around my schedule and make that work. It's really neat because it has afforded us the opportunity to grow as a family and to have an income that leaves us with some extra supplement.
And that's, again, the ultimate beauty of it, at least from my viewpoint, especially because we homeschool and everything, is it's so rare that dads get to take much more of an active participatory role in their kids' education, in their discipleship, which is of utmost importance in our household, in talking to them about the things of the Lord. But not being gone for 9 to 10 hours out of the house, when you factor in driving time and different things, allows for more of those opportunities, many more organic type of conversations where maybe I'll come down to have my lunch and my 14-year-old, when he's not throwing a tantrum, will come ask me a question. Hey Dad, what do you think about this? Or hey, I read this. Do you agree with this or not? Or my 10-year-old, or even sometimes my 6-year-old, or sometimes it's just about coming down and seeing the joy in my 3-year-old's face as she's playing with her many toys and dolls, and their outfits and all that stuff. But again, that's the beauty of homeschooling, and for me, that is the greatest thing about working from home. And I know a lot of people have had to transition to that, and I would say that if you have and you're struggling, just make sure you have communication. Set whatever boundaries you need to set, make sure those get respected, and then try to find the joy in it.
Yeah.
And
revisit as you feel the need, because sometimes what you felt worked for one season may not work for the next. Like for instance, we are in winter season as we are recording this, and it's a lot more cold, so we're in and at home a lot more often.
It's only 20-something degrees. It's not that bad.
That's it, yeah. And so with him, the way that he has, number one, communicated with me, it's huge. A lot throughout the day is text messaging, just because it's kind of our form of intercom if he's not down here or in transit somewhere around the house. because I don't know if he's in the middle of something, and so I think that's really big. But for him, it's having the door closed. Like, we usually know that's code for, okay, we should probably stay downstairs just in case he can't communicate that. For me, they know that if mom is sitting at the computer, that they need to kind of wait, put their hand on the desk and say, Mom, is this okay to ask you something? So the boundaries, they are present, even for him asking me or vice versa. It's been really, really helpful. And like he said, find joy in the season that you are in and let your children see the value of hard work.
Yes. Between
each parent, between husband and wife.
It's a living example, and there's nothing greater than that. And I know working from home isn't for everybody, and not everybody can do it. But if you can, and if you are, I would like to encourage you to realize those things. That it's an opportunity for you to live out and be an example to your family of hard work, of being diligent, of being responsible, of being a person that, like I said, that self-responsibility. That's huge. And you know, I wouldn't trade it for anything now. I don't think I could ever go back to working outside of the home. We truly have found a new appreciation for one another as well. Yeah. Our marriage, I would say, has improved. Not that it was in a rocky place when it began, but it could never harm for us to have improvement. Yeah. And I really enjoy being at home with my family and my husband more, kind of like 95% of the day and the time. So we're together a lot. Yeah. But it's great because that's how we establish what the Gonzo life is. Yeah. If you enjoyed this video and you would like to continue to see more like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment below if you'd like any feedback or you have questions about working from home that you would like us to reply to. Don't talk about Bruno.